I am Mayor Parks's youngest son. I'm the fifth of 9 children. He started out in Indiana. He's originally from Princeton, Indiana, which is very south. That's where he grew up. And it was a farming community. It was all black community where he lived. In fact, it was just honored recently by being part of the African American Museum in Washington, D.C. There's an exhibit of that particular community called Lyle Station. After he got married, while he was still in school, he would come to that church in the summer and help the pastor. Once he graduated, the family moved to Kokomo, and then Richmond, Indiana, and then from Richmond to Ann Arbor, and then from Ann Arbor to Detroit, from Detroit to Grand Rapids, and then after he finished his pastorship in Grand Rapids, he moved to Chicago. One favorite memory I have is when I was in the 4th grade. We were headed to the museum at the University of Michigan. And our bus pulls up to the school and we're all ready to go, but there's a problem. We don't have enough chaperones. So the trip was about to be canceled because of that. So I said, wait a minute. I think my mom and my dad can help out. So we called and they came to the rescue and saved the day. They chaperoned and we were able to go on our trip. Later, when we were invited to go to Washington, D.C. for the inauguration by Gerald Ford, it was exciting to be in the capital city at an exciting time.
Parks' influence was as a successful pastor at Church First Community African American Episcopal Church, the second church to be founded in the city, one of the oldest churches in Grand Rapids. He was of that generation where you put your head down, you work, you prove your worth.
One of the criteria that they wanted for the new pastor at that church was for him to be a family person and to be involved in the community. So when he got here, he kind of surveyed what the problems were, and then decided that the best way to deal with making change in the community was running for commissioner. One of the problems was open housing. Grand Rapids was a community that, for minorities, you could only live in certain areas. And the realtors would redline the city. So like if you wanted to live on the northeast side of town, they might say, no, it'd be better if you looked on the southeast side of town. In order for minorities to be able to live wherever they wanted to in the city, he held a march, and we all marched downtown to the city commission and made our case for why that wasn't a good thing and how that needed to change. And so that kind of sparked the whole movement about him getting more involved in government. After being on the city commission, he was promoted to mayor pro tem when the mayor stepped down from his position. So then he was the one who was temporarily in charge of the city until he was later elected.
He's an interesting placeholder in city politics. He comes along in the 70s periods where first black mayors all over the country are being elected. Climate was tense, the climate over school system, over school integration. I think the commission thought that Parks would be able to pacify the black community.
So he ran for the 3rd Ward City Commissioner. He was a good facilitator when it came to communicating between groups of people that had issues or problems. He was that calming force that showed, hey, we can all get along, we can all learn and make life better here in Grand Rapids if we understand each other better and we make some changes to improve the conditions.
Knowing something about Parks is about knowing something about your local community and why you should get engaged. That's democracy asserts that we as individuals have equality and a right to participate in self-governing.
He was the one when Grand Rapids was going through its decline with the 60s. He formed the Blue Ribbon Committee that got the downtown redevelopment started. The whole Ford Museum, the Van Andel Center, and the mall on Monroe, and the Pantland Hotel. That all kind of came together under his leadership. It was a spark that got everything moving so that what you see downtown now is kind of the fruits of his labor. I think he would tell young people, be involved in your community, be involved in your church, study hard, stay in school, learn as much as you can, and make sure you do what's right and work hard.
When was LymanParks born?
What did he want to be when he was younger?
Where did LymanParks meet his wife?
Why did LymanParks run for city council?
What was the political climate when LymanParks was mayor?
Why was LymanParks the man for the job at the time?
What did you learn from LymanParks?